Listen carefully. This might be the message that changes how you react to everything for the rest of your life. Imagine walking through your day completely unshaken. No matter what people say, no matter how they behave, you remain calm, controlled, and powerful. While others lose themselves in anger, you stay grounded. While others react, you choose your response. This is not weakness. This is mastery. Most people think anger is something that just happens. They believe it's automatic, uncontrollable, and justified. But that's the illusion. Anger doesn't come from what people do, it comes from how you interpret what they do. Two people can face the same insult, and one explodes while the other smiles and walks away. The difference is not the situation. The difference is the mind. The truth is simple but difficult to accept. No one can make you angry without your permission. People can say words. They can act in certain ways. They can try to provoke you, but they cannot reach inside your mind unless you allow them. The moment you understand this, you take your power back. Stoic philosophy teaches that you must separate what is in your control from what is not. Other people's actions, opinions, and behaviors are not in your control. Your thoughts, your reactions, and your decisions are. When you focus only on what you control, you stop wasting energy on things that drain you. Think about how much time you've lost being upset over people. Arguments that led nowhere. Words you wish you didn't say. Emotions that ruined your day. Now imagine if you could reclaim all that energy and direct it toward your growth, your peace, and your purpose. When someone disrespects you, your first instinct is to react. But pause for a moment. Ask yourself, is this worth my peace? Most of the time, it isn't. Reacting gives them power. Staying calm keeps the power with you. People who anger easily are easy to control. Anyone can push their buttons and manipulate their emotions. But someone who remains calm becomes untouchable. Their peace cannot be stolen. Their mind cannot be shaken. You must train yourself to see things differently. Instead of viewing people as enemies, see them as teachers. The rude person teaches you patience. The dishonest person teaches you awareness. The difficult person strengthens your emotional discipline. This doesn't mean you accept bad behavior. It means you don't let it disturb your inner state. You respond wisely instead of reacting emotionally. There is a difference. Your mind is like a fortress. If you leave the gates open, anyone can walk in and cause chaos. But if you guard it carefully, only what serves you is allowed inside. Not every opinion deserves your attention. Not every situation deserves your energy. Silence is often more powerful than words. Walking away is often stronger than arguing. Choosing peace is often wiser than proving a point. You don't need to win every battle. Sometimes, the greatest victory is refusing to fight. There is strength in restraint. There is power in calmness. There is freedom in not caring about things that don't matter. You must also understand that people act based on their own struggles, insecurities, and perspectives. When someone is rude or disrespectful, it often says more about them than it does about you. Why carry the burden of someone else's problems? Detach yourself emotionally from unnecessary drama. Not everything deserves your reaction. Not everything requires your involvement. Learn to observe without absorbing. Imagine being in a situation where someone tries to provoke you, and instead of reacting, you simply smile and move on. That moment is powerful. It shows control. It shows growth. It shows mastery. You don't need validation from others. You don't need approval. You don't need to prove your worth to anyone. The more you depend on others for your emotional state, the more control they have over you. Freedom comes when you stop letting people control how you feel. Start practicing this daily. When something bothers you, pause. Take a breath. Question your reaction. Choose calmness. At first, it will be difficult. But with time, it becomes natural. You will notice a shift. Things that used to anger you will no longer affect you. Situations that used to stress you will seem insignificant. You will feel lighter, stronger, and more in control. Your life improves when your reactions improve. The goal is not to suppress your emotions. The goal is to understand them and not be ruled by them. You are not your anger. You are the one observing it, and that means you can control it. Peace is not found in controlling others. It is found in controlling yourself. As you continue this journey, you will realize something powerful. The less you react, the more respect you gain. The calmer you are, the stronger you appear. The more disciplined your mind becomes, the less anyone can disturb you. This is how you become unbothered. This is how you become unstoppable. The real challenge begins when you take this idea into your everyday life. It's easy to feel calm while listening to this message. It's harder when someone disrespects you, ignores you, or treats you unfairly. That's where the practice begins. Imagine someone cuts you off in traffic. Your heart rate rises. Your mind starts creating a story. How dare they? People are so careless. In that moment, you have a choice. You can follow that emotion and let it control you, or you can pause and say, "This is not worth my peace." That small pause is where your power lives. Most people never pause. They react instantly. That's why they stay trapped in cycles of frustration. But you are different now. You are becoming aware, and awareness is the first step to mastery. You must understand that anger often comes from expectation. You expect people to behave a certain way. You expect respect, understanding, fairness. And when reality doesn't match your expectations, you feel anger. But what if you lowered your expectations of others and raised your standards for yourself? When you expect less from others, you become less disappointed. When you expect more from yourself, you become stronger. This doesn't mean you accept poor treatment. It means you stop being surprised by it. You prepare your mind in advance. You tell yourself, people will act according to their nature, not mine. And when it happens, you are ready. You are not shaken. There is a powerful shift that happens when you stop taking things personally. Most of what people do has nothing to do with you. They are acting from their own experiences, their own emotions, their own struggles. But your mind tries to make it about you. Someone ignores you, and you think you're not important. Someone criticizes you, and you think you're not good enough. But that is your interpretation, not the truth. When you detach from these interpretations, you free yourself. Think about a strong tree during a storm. The wind hits it, the rain falls, the pressure increases. But the tree does not resist. It bends slightly, it adapts, and it remains rooted. That is how you must be. Flexible, but grounded. Aware, but unshaken. Your calmness is your strength. There will be moments when staying calm feels like losing. When you want to respond, defend yourself, prove your point. But ask yourself, what do I gain from this? Most arguments are not about truth. They are about ego, and ego is the enemy of peace. When you let go of the need to be right, you gain something far more valuable. You gain control over yourself. You gain clarity. You gain freedom. You don't need to win every conversation. You don't need to correct every person. You don't need to respond to every insult. Sometimes, silence is the highest form of intelligence. People who are easily angered are predictable. They can be manipulated. But someone who remains calm becomes unpredictable. They become respected, even by those who don't like them. Calmness creates authority. Start observing people around you. Notice how quickly they react. Notice how easily they get offended. Notice how small things disturb their peace. Then look at yourself and ask, do I want to be like that? Or do you want to rise above it? Every time you choose calm over anger, you are building a new identity. You are becoming someone who is not controlled by external forces. You are becoming someone who controls themselves. And that is rare. There is also a deeper level to this. You must learn to let go of the past. Many people carry anger from things that happened years ago. Words that were said, situations that hurt them, and they replay these moments over and over again. But holding on to anger is like holding on to fire. It burns you, not the other person. Forgiveness is not about them. It's about you. It's about releasing the weight that is holding you down. It's about choosing peace over pain. You don't have to forget. But you must let go. Another important lesson is learning to protect your energy. Not everyone deserves access to you. Not every conversation is worth having. Not every environment is healthy. Sometimes, the best way to stay unbothered is to remove yourself from situations that disturb your peace. Distance is powerful. You don't need to explain yourself to everyone. You don't need to justify your decisions. The more you try to make people understand you, the more frustrated you become. Accept that not everyone will understand you. And that's okay. Your journey is yours alone. As you continue practicing this mindset, you will notice something interesting. The things that used to trigger you will lose their power. Situations that once felt overwhelming will feel small. You will start to feel a sense of control you've never experienced before. This is growth, and people will notice it. They will see the change in you. Some will respect it, some will be confused by it, some may even try harder to provoke you, just to see if they can break your calm. Don't fall for it. Your peace is more valuable than their reaction. There is a quiet confidence that comes with emotional control. You don't need to raise your voice. You don't need to prove anything. Your presence speaks for itself. You walk differently. You think differently. You respond differently. You become someone who is not easily shaken. And that is power. Remember, this is a daily practice. You will not be perfect. There will be moments when you react, moments when you lose control. But don't let that discourage you. Learn from it, improve, move forward. Progress, not perfection. Every day is a new opportunity to strengthen your mind. Every situation is a chance to practice control. Every challenge is a step toward mastery. The more you train your mind, the easier it becomes. Eventually, calmness becomes your default state. Imagine living a life where nothing disturbs your peace. Where no one can control your emotions. Where you are always in control of yourself. That life is possible, but it requires discipline. It requires awareness. It requires practice. And most importantly, it requires a decision. A decision to stop giving your power away. A decision to stop reacting to everything. A decision to take control of your mind. Once you make that decision, everything begins to change. There is a moment in your life when you realize something powerful. You realize that reacting to everything is exhausting. You realize that most things don't deserve your energy. And once that realization settles in, you begin to change. You begin to choose your battles more carefully. Not everything is worth your attention. Not everything deserves a response. And not everyone deserves access to your emotions. When you truly understand this, your life becomes quieter, clearer, and more focused. Think about how many times you've allowed small things to ruin your entire day. A comment, a look, a misunderstanding. In the moment, it feels important. But later, you realize it meant nothing. That's the illusion of emotion. It magnifies things that are actually small. When you step back and observe your thoughts, you start to see patterns. You start to notice that your anger often follows the same triggers. The same types of people. The same situations. This is where real growth begins. Because once you identify your triggers, you can prepare for them. Preparation is power. If you know that certain people tend to provoke you, you don't walk into those interactions unprepared. You go in with awareness. You remind yourself, I will stay calm. I will not react. I control myself. And when the moment comes, you are ready. Instead of reacting emotionally, you respond intentionally. That is the difference between weakness and strength. Weakness reacts instantly. Strength pauses, thinks, and chooses. You must train yourself to slow down your reactions. Even a few seconds can make a huge difference. In those few seconds, you can prevent words you'll regret. You can prevent actions that damage relationships. You can prevent unnecessary stress. Those few seconds can change everything. Another important truth is that people often test your boundaries. Not always consciously, but it happens. If you react emotionally every time, you teach people that they can control you. But when you remain calm, when you don't give them the reaction they expect, something changes. They lose interest. They lose control. Your calmness becomes your shield. And over time, it becomes your identity. People will start to see you as someone who cannot be easily shaken. Someone who does not engage in drama. Someone who values peace over conflict. And that kind of presence commands respect. But there is something even deeper than that. When you stop reacting to everything, you create space in your mind. Space to think clearly. Space to focus on what truly matters. Space to grow. Most people are too distracted by emotions to grow. They spend their energy on things that don't move their life forward. But you are different. You are learning to redirect that energy. Instead of reacting, you reflect. Instead of arguing, you improve. Instead of getting angry, you get better. That shift is life-changing. There will be times when staying calm feels uncomfortable. When your ego wants to speak. When your pride wants to defend itself. But remember this. Not every attack requires a defense. Sometimes, the strongest move is to do nothing. Doing nothing is not weakness. It is control. It shows that you are not desperate to prove yourself. It shows that you are secure in who you are. And that kind of confidence cannot be faked. As you continue on this path, you will also start to value your peace more than your ego. You will realize that being right is not as important as being calm. That winning an argument is not as important as protecting your mental state. Peace becomes your priority, and once peace becomes your priority, everything else falls into place. You think better. You act better. You live better. You stop wasting time on unnecessary drama. You stop engaging in pointless conflicts. You stop letting other people dictate your emotional state. You take full responsibility for your mind. And that is where true freedom begins. Freedom is not about controlling the world around you. It's about controlling how you respond to it. When you reach that level, nothing can disturb you. Not criticism, not disrespect, not negativity. Because you understand something that most people don't. You understand that your reaction is a choice. And you choose wisely. This doesn't mean you become passive. It doesn't mean you allow people to walk over you. It means you respond with clarity instead of emotion. You set boundaries without anger. You speak with calmness instead of aggression. You walk away when necessary, without feeling the need to explain yourself. That is strength. That is discipline. That is stoicism in action. And the more you practice this, the more natural it becomes. What once felt difficult becomes effortless. What once triggered you no longer affects you. You evolve. And as you evolve, your life changes. Your relationships improve. Your stress decreases. Your focus sharpens. Your confidence grows. Because you are no longer controlled by external chaos. You are grounded within yourself. Take a moment to imagine the kind of person you are becoming. Someone who remains calm in difficult situations. Someone who does not react impulsively. Someone who chooses their responses with intention. That person is powerful. That person is rare. And that person is you, if you continue on this path. But remember, this is not something you learn once and forget. This is something you practice every day. Every situation is an opportunity to strengthen your control. And every time you choose calmness, you reinforce that identity. You are building a mindset that cannot be shaken. You are becoming someone who is truly in control. You don't become unbothered overnight. That's the part most people don't want to hear. They want a quick trick, a shortcut, something they can apply instantly and never feel anger again. But real control doesn't come from shortcuts. It comes from repetition, awareness, and discipline. Every single day, life will test you. It will test your patience when things don't go your way. It will test your emotions when people misunderstand you. It will test your control when someone tries to provoke you. And in each of those moments, you will have a choice. You can go back to your old habits, reacting instantly, letting your emotions take over. Or you can pause, breathe, and remind yourself of who you are becoming. Because this is not just about avoiding anger. This is about building a new identity. An identity of someone who is calm under pressure. Someone who does not lose control easily. Someone who is grounded, focused, and disciplined. And identities are built through actions, not intentions. You might fail sometimes. You might react when you shouldn't. You might say things you regret. That's part of the process. What matters is that you become aware of it and improve the next time. Progress is built in those small moments. Think about it like training a muscle. The first time you try to stay calm in a difficult situation, it feels hard. Your mind resists. Your emotions push back. But the more you practice, the stronger that control becomes. Eventually, what once felt impossible becomes natural. You don't even have to think about it anymore. You just respond with calmness automatically. That is mastery. There is also something important you must understand about silence. Silence is not weakness. Silence is not fear. Silence is control. When someone expects a reaction from you and you give them nothing, you take away their power. You break the pattern. You show them that you are not easily influenced. And that can be uncomfortable for people who are used to controlling others through emotion. But that discomfort is not your problem. Your responsibility is to protect your peace. You don't owe everyone a response. You don't owe everyone your attention. You don't owe everyone your energy. Learn to be selective. The more selective you are with your energy, the more powerful you become. Another key lesson is learning to let things go quickly. Holding on to anger is like replaying the same negative moment over and over again in your mind. It drains you. It keeps you stuck. But when you let go, you free yourself. Letting go doesn't mean what happened was okay. It means you refuse to carry it with you any longer. It means you value your peace more than your pain. There is a quiet strength in that decision. As you continue growing, you will notice that your perspective starts to shift. Situations that once felt personal will start to feel distant. You will begin to see things more objectively. You will realize that most conflicts are not worth your time. Most arguments are not worth your energy. Most reactions are not worth your peace. And when you reach that point, life becomes simpler. You stop overthinking every interaction. You stop analyzing every word. You stop reacting to every situation. You become more present. And being present is powerful. Because when you are fully present, you are not controlled by past anger or future anxiety. You are focused on what is happening right now, and in that moment, you have control. Control over your thoughts. Control over your actions. Control over your state of mind. That is true power. You will also start to notice a change in how people treat you. When you are calm and composed, people are less likely to challenge you. They sense your control. They respect your presence. Even those who try to provoke you will eventually stop, because they are not getting the reaction they want. You become someone who is difficult to disturb. And that is a rare quality. But don't let this make you arrogant. Stay humble. Stay aware. Remember that this is a continuous journey. There is always room to improve. There will always be new challenges. There will always be moments that test your patience. But instead of fearing those moments, welcome them. Because each challenge is an opportunity to grow stronger. Each difficult situation is a chance to practice control. Each moment of tension is a chance to prove to yourself that you are no longer the person you used to be. You are evolving. You are becoming more disciplined. You are becoming more aware. You are becoming more in control. And that transformation will impact every area of your life. Your relationships will improve because you communicate with clarity instead of emotion. Your work will improve because you stay focused instead of distracted. Your mental health will improve because you are not constantly reacting to external chaos. Everything begins to align because you are aligned within yourself. Take a moment to appreciate that. Most people never reach this level of awareness. They spend their entire lives reacting, complaining, blaming others for how they feel. But you are choosing a different path. A path of responsibility. A path of discipline. A path of control. And that path leads to freedom. Freedom from unnecessary stress. Freedom from emotional chaos. Freedom from being controlled by others. That is the reward. But remember, this is not about becoming emotionless. It's about becoming emotionally intelligent. You still feel. You still care. You still experience life fully. But you are no longer controlled by your emotions. You are guided by them, not ruled by them. That is the balance. And when you find that balance, life becomes more peaceful, more meaningful, and more fulfilling. So the next time you feel anger rising, don't fight it blindly. Observe it, understand it, question it, ask yourself, is this worth my peace? Most of the time, the answer will be no, and in that moment, choose calmness. Choose control. Choose yourself. Because every time you choose yourself, you become stronger. Every time you stay calm, you build confidence. Every time you refuse to react, you gain power. And over time, those small choices create a completely different life. A life where you are in control. A life where you are not easily shaken. A life where you move with calmness and clarity, no matter what happens around you. That is the life you are building. And it starts with one decision. A decision to stop reacting to everything. A decision to take control of your mind. A decision to protect your peace. Hold on to that decision. Stay committed to it and keep moving forward. Because the person you are becoming is worth it, and if you've made it this far, it means you are serious about change. It means you are ready to grow. It means you are ready to become someone who cannot be easily disturbed. So don't stop here. Subscribe to this channel to continue learning how to master your emotions, strengthen your mindset, and build unshakable inner peace. This is just the beginning. Stay calm. Stay disciplined. Stay unbothered. And remember, the strongest person in the room is not the loudest one. It is the one who remains in control of themselves, no matter what.